Hey everybody. Uh, First time recording myself, looking at my own face, talking to other people. That's kind of new for me. Uh, Not so much to my wife. She gave me some pointers before I jumped on here. But really, I've just had a lot on my mind in the last week. That's ironic use of words. In regards to how to apply mindfulness to your daily life and how it sort of slowly but surely adjusts your perspective on your world, on other people's worlds, on how you manage your emotions, on how you deal with your reality. Um, I think I started practicing mindfulness meditation about 8 or 9 years ago, and I noticed something really strange after doing it for a little under a month. The flow of thoughts became a lot less incessant. They became manageable before they became controllable. Controllable in the sense that I could pull away from my mind, jumping to a million different thoughts back to the present moment, and kind of noticing in my body how much that relaxed everything in my body to just come back to the moment. I think the magic of mindfulness, I think we'll call this the magic of mindfulness. Oh, sorry, I had to interrupt there. Um, trying to regather my thoughts, I had to address my son's question real quick. Um, the magic of mindfulness in the sense that, not a mystical sort of magical, but just sort of like ordinary magic of seeing things clearer and not living so much through your conceptual mind. I think when you practice meditation for consistent periods every day, that you start to notice that change. Normally, your thoughts in life kind of seem like they're just pouring out of control without your say or without your approval even. But meditation sort of at first is acts like a strainer. It slows the thoughts down a little bit. You might not be able to control them or divert from them, but slowly you can recognize them, and recognizing them itself kind of gives you the ability to choose to come back to the present moment. You start to feel like you have a choice in where you're at, and whether you're living in your conceptual mind, worrying about what's for dinner, are all the kids going to like what's for dinner, what's the party going to be like this weekend, what does this person think about me, is this person going to be there? And it can just kind of go endlessly on and on forever. And I think that we're in an age of social media that kind of promotes that. We can jump into a million different worlds in 5 minutes. I can scroll down and get emotionally attached to people and ideas at an insane rate in a matter of 5 minutes, and I don't think we realize what that does when we set the phone down and check back into our reality. It's not like just because we set our phone down that we're back in the present moment fully, evaluating life in front of us, or even participating in it. Maybe not evaluating it, but participating in life in front of us. So I think that the main thing mindfulness taught me was that my conceptual mind and my emotional mind runs on the future and the past, obviously, which we always talk about. That's the power of living in now. But I think that when you really slow it down, you can see that your conceptual mind is always throwing you into scenarios that are based on your emotions, like fear. You fear the way that party's going to go, or the opposite is true too. Oh, sorry, I got to decline that call right now. The opposite is true too. You can get an intense, unrealistic view of desiring something, wanting it to go a certain way, which in itself kind of is an emotional trigger too, because you attach yourself to the way you think it's going to go. So both those things kind of keep you out of the present moment, life in front of you, and pulled around by your emotional mind, which is seldom stable. And if something's not stable, then it's really hard to control it. So I sometimes hate to use the word control, because control is kind of what causes the problem. our desire to control things, to have them the way we want them to be or the way we wanted them to be. I think control can be a whole nother issue, but I think I use control in the sense of moderate the thoughts enough at first, moderate the thoughts enough to come back to the present moment. You have to start there. I mean, a lot of people get discouraged because they can't just start living in the moment. After 2 days of meditation, they don't feel better. You're not going to feel better at first. That's the truth with just about anything in life that's good for you. It doesn't feel good at first. We have all kinds of bad mental, physical habits that we've grown dependent on. So it's always going to be hard to detach from those things, but it's always for a greater good in the long run. So I think that if you're going to start a mindfulness practice, you really have to kind of dedicate yourself to that belief that you're waiting for the greater good, with a realization that you know it's coming. You have to start there. Otherwise, it's just arena of self-judgment, like, oh, was this meditation good? No, this wasn't good. This was bad. This isn't helping at all, which is just more conceptual mind pulling you here and there and getting you further from where you want to be, and that's the moment that's at hand. So I think that the best way to start, the best way I used to tell people when we discussed meditation and when I taught a few classes on this, is set a doable limit for yourself. If it's 2 minutes a day, that's fine, but that 2 minutes is mandatory. That 2 minutes needs to be as important to you as eating or sleeping. And if it isn't, then you're really not dedicated to the result of mindfulness. You really don't have a belief in it enough to get the results from it. You know, it just becomes another new age, it just becomes another thing to attach to, just like all the other bad habits are. You could turn mindfulness into a bad habit too. We could turn almost anything into a bad habit as human beings. But I think that that is the most important thing. Stick with a practice for a week, 2 weeks, and then see how you feel on a daily basis. And even if you don't feel better, are you okay with not feeling better? On a bad day, do the bad negative emotions control your actions? Do they cause you to do things that only create more negative emotions? Do your negative emotions bring bad consequences in the outside world? These are all things you start to notice when you start living mindfully. You know, before you're kind of controlled by your emotional mind that has all these habitual behaviors, reactions. You react to it. You know, a guy cuts you off in traffic, you get angry and almost wreck your car or chase them down, get in a fight, they shoot you, you get your head bashed in. Like, your emotional mind reacts in a way that isn't even conducive to your own benefit. So I think that mindfulness allows you the ability to see the harm that you're causing yourself, so you can at least minimize that. We're all gonna encounter some degree of suffering in life. That's never going to change, but you can definitely alter the amount of suffering that you cause yourself because of your emotional reactivity. So I think if I had to start anywhere, that's where I would start with the magic of mindfulness. And let me know what you think. I think it's a great practice. Changed my life, changed my relationships, did a lot of good for me. Most important thing to remember is, don't judge yourself. These practices aren't unique to one particular religion. Don't cling on to anything that separates you from other people, like, this is my practice, you should do this. Just try it for yourself and see how it affects your life. Even before you talk about it, don't set goals and talk about it to everybody and be like, I've been doing this for a week. Just do it and see for yourself how it makes your life better. I hope that helps. Nice talking to you all. Thanks for being patient with my first video.